Welcome to art. Today we're going to talk about drawing with both hands. So drawing with both hands, it's helpful to have some masking tape or another kind of tape just to hold down your paper, since usually when you draw or write, you have your other hand free to hold your paper down. So this time we are going to use tape to help us out. Drawing with both hands can be regulating for some people, and for other people it can be a challenge. And both of those things are useful from a therapeutic standpoint. Just remember that if it's a challenge, there can be frustration, and giving a student access to tools to manage their frustration during that time is really helpful. And if it's soothing, then it's just a fun thing to do, right? So that's also great teaching a coping skill. I'm going to start out not with marker actually, because I want to show kind of a couple different levels of doing this. One level would be, or one approach would be to use something that is, easier to hold for a grip that's maybe more like this. And so some students are gripping things that way, and that's an important part of development to acknowledge that where they're at. So with students who are doing that, it may be just to do with both hands, and seeing if the movements can be somewhat synchronized. It can be balancing because the two, it requires the motor planning aspects of the mind to work together, which can create some balance and some integration between the hemispheres of the brain. Okay, so that's one thing to do. There can be a second level, which can be, let's start another page. For this, you might want to place some lines on the paper. So you could, as a facilitator, you could draw two lines. You don't have to do them with opposite hands. And then those lines create a guide so that the action can be more synchronized. As much as you can to present this as an invitation or to present this as something fun to try, the more helpful and the more beneficial the activity actually is. I know it's, sometimes we want to, sometimes we're in a position where we are really, using our hands to help a student do something. And that's definitely important in some cases. I try to make art more of an invitation, if at all possible. So maybe even it's demonstrating this as an idea and inviting a child to put their hand on top of your hand while you do it, to start helping them have the attention to the work and to what you're suggesting. And for this, for another approach, using markers, maybe for students that have, this kind of a grip and this kind of an approach to writing or drawing. So, but then there can be a game, kind of a conversation between the lines, and it can be really free associative and just allowing, seeing what happens. Just try it out. Let your hands go where they want. Let the lines have a conversation if they want. Sometimes students will just take this into really amazing and interesting representations. Sometimes one hand will want to draw something that really surprises the student or really surprises whoever's there with them. Or it, you know, or it's tricky and it isn't something that's fun, but it can be really, really interesting to let your body kind of do what it does. So that's one way to kind of draw with two hands, a very free way. And then I'll show one last way that's more structured. And for this way, I might suggest folding the paper in half first so that you do have a guide of the symmetry. You don't have to do that. Then tape your work down. And it can be helpful to look at an image of something that is symmetrical, so a face or an animal. A lot of times animals are, if they're looking at you front ways, they're pretty similar on both sides. So you could be looking at a face or looking at a cat or an insect, right? An insect is often symmetrical. So I could be looking at a dragonfly. So I'm going to try that. So imagine I'm looking at a dragonfly and I'm looking at the eye shapes and I'm slowly watching and going down the different parts of the body. Kind of has a part that goes in and a part that goes out. Something like this. And we come down and we meet at the bottom. And then maybe we're just gonna go slow because sometimes this is challenging, right? We might have one hand that's doing things real different than the other. I'm gonna look again and think about, okay, well, it has wings and the wings come out the sides and go back in, right? And then kind of do that again, I think. Something like that. And maybe I want to add some detail. So I'll add some stripes, maybe. Or maybe I want to add some legs. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we have 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might add some detail here. Ooh. Or some detail in the wings. And you can make this take a long time or be a short exercise. It's your decision. All right, and you get the idea. So those are my thoughts about drawing with two hands. I hope you give them a try.